Welcome to the Filmsteins, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmstein. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmsteins, where movies are more than just entertainment. They're an experience. And welcome back to another glorious episode of the fastest growing podcast in the world, the Filmsteins.
Whoa.
Yep. And I'm joined today by my kaiju friend, Lucy. Kind of got a kaiju in this movie.
Kind of. Very inspired.
Yeah. Today we will be talking about Bong Joon-ho's 2006 film, The Host, or literally translated into monster, if you were to Romanize the it's not kanji, but Korean kanji.
Oh, okay.
Do I prefer The Host?
I prefer The Host.
Why was it called The Host? Remind me. If you think about it, bring it up. This is Bong Joon-ho's third feature film, and I think it's also our third we've covered by him, or is this the second?
I think it's the second.
Okay, I've just been thinking about Parasite a lot, I think.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Parasite.
Widely considered to be one of the greatest films of all time. We'll get to it.
Parasite or this one?
Parasite. No, not this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone even knows about this film. I've never heard anyone bring this up. The only reason I know about it is because, I guess ultimately because of Okja, really. Well, or maybe Parasite, because of the 2019 when he got... Maybe that's where it starts. I'm not sure. I didn't see Okja when it came out.
Oh, I did.
Like you did. Yeah, you knew about this guy before me.
Yeah, I think it was one of the highest grossing films in South Korea for like a long time. The Host.
Cool. That's cool.
So I'm sure people heard of it.
Well, a lot of Koreans, I'm sure, is real popular. I know Korea did have a late bloom into the cinema scene, but since the early 2000s, they've really given the rest of the world a run for its money. They kind of had the opposite happen. They kind of had the opposite thing happen that Japan had. Japan came into the cinema scene and fucking dominated and defined what genres were. And I mean, so after the 70s, we lost a lot of. They seemed to lose a little bit of their steam, and other countries kind of started to displace. But that is just the dynamic of the movie industry, I guess. I think America is especially at a low point right now.
I can see that.
With the exception of indie films, I think that's probably a really important thing happening here. Is indie films are really starting to become mainstream almost. Through A24. Can you even call A24 an indie production house anymore?
Not anymore.
I don't know if you can. They put out. I think they might put out more movies than Warner Brothers. Distribution wise, maybe not production wise, but distribution wise, I think they might, because I think they have a movie come out every single month, and I'm not sure if Warner Brothers does, but we'd have to track that. But I don't know. It's comparable, and I don't think if you're comparable to someone like Warner Brothers, I don't know if you're indie. Just because you're not owned by AT&T or whatever now, Discovery. It's a whole endless argument in the video game world too. Because, you have 4 or 5 guys make a game, and the game sells $50 million worth of units, and you're like, well, as your next game indie, it's got the budget of a AAA game, potentially, so it's kind of a funny thing. But yeah,
and then you have films like Everything Everywhere All at Once come out. Yeah, I don't think you're indie anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It may not be getting crazy Marvel, numbers with, hitting $1 billion or Super Mario Brother numbers. But yeah, when you win all those awards and you get all the recognition and you break all these records, think you're losing a little bit of your indie status, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Neon is another kind of company that likes to mess with like smaller productions or whatever. They kind of were the A24 before A24 on some level, not quite as weird in some corners. And IFC is also a similar cut. I feel like Lamb was a Neon production. No, it wasn't Lamb. It was the one with the egg.
Oh, Hatching.
It was Hatching, I think. That was a Neon.
Hatchling or Hatching? I think it was The Hatching.
The Hatching. And you could have very easily seen that as an A24 film, I think.
Yes.
And so, you kind of get that vibe. But this is kind of pre-A24. I think A24 started in like 2012, so this is a good bit before that. Not that this feels like an A24 film, but I'd be curious to know the Korean perspective on Bong Joon-ho, and if he's looked at as, a Stanley Kubrick type character or Francis Coppola or something, because he's making big waves over here, and I like his recent films messing with Korean and American English and that combo. I like that a lot. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I don't know.
It's gotta be. I don't know any Koreans. I've never been to Korea. Yeah, so it's gotta be though. It has to be.
How can it not?
Yeah. This is an interesting film. He is very much into taking care of the world we live in, which is that's a very Asian ideology with its Buddhist roots and Hinduistic roots, and I would like to say that about Abrahamic religions too, but I don't think that's probably the case. I don't know if there's any sense of taking care of your environment in Christianity and Islam and stuff.
No, that's the last one.
Don't get that feeling. That's kind of a stereotype of the Asian world. And so, but I like that he's kind of really obsessed with that, it seems like, but in a funny way. Like he likes kind of making, it's almost kind of like what we were talking about with.
It's almost targeted towards Americans. I mean, and I've only seen 2 of his films, so, just those 2, Okja and this one.
Yeah.
It's always the Americans' fault.
And I like that you say that, and I don't think it's anything personal.
No, I don't either.
But I think it's especially funny because it puts America on its face and tells us how easy of a target we are to be made fun of. And then I was seeing some things online about how when this came out, and maybe to this point, I don't know, people like to redact and revise history, of course, right? Everyone apparently played Wind Waker on the GameCube, even though the GameCube only sold 20 million units, so I don't know how everyone played it. But it got casted as an anti-American film. And I'm just like, what? Just because it's making fun of America? I wish it went harder.
What?
What were we talking about when something like this kind of came up and we wish it would have taken that extra step to... What movie was that? I will say I did not like this as much as Okja. It's probably not surprising. This movie feels very early 2000s. It's not as smart as Okja. It's not as emotional, right? It's fun, which I love about this. I'm going to say this over and over again. I wish this was the baseline for films.
No, I completely agree with you. I definitely liked Okja a lot better than this. This didn't make me cry, which I thought it was. I thought it was going to make me cry, especially at the end.
Yeah, I did not know where things were going to land with this, but
I do like that, it's a monster movie, and now you translating it is a monster movie. And I do like that it takes a different approach than most monster movies. And it's a thing we've talked about before. Monster movies don't give us enough monster, and they give us this bobo plot with the humans, with the family, the characters, and they don't do that here. They still keep the characters fun, and they still keep the characters, entertaining and silly.
It puts those to shame, doesn't it? Because we have both, and we don't even have like the spectacle monster like Godzilla, you know, he's pretty small.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, you get a few guys with some big ass guns, you might be able to take this guy out, you know? You're not doing that with Godzilla. You need a whole country to fucking throw missiles at this guy. Maybe, I don't even know. And so I love it. It reminds me of Shin Godzilla in that way, which we need to watch.
The Godzilla?
Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla. Okay.
Remember that?
Is that the really silly looking Godzilla?
He's the really silly looking Godzilla, but it's like so political and so urgent, and it's so fun. It's so cool. I love that movie. The movie's so good. And this kind of reminded me of that. This also reminds me of a very classic slasher monster, like creature. I guess kind of creature feature type film, because we had a monster, a kaiju type monster, not quite that big, but he kidnapped people and was keeping them captive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was like this weird traditional 80s horror element here, minus the stupidity that comes with 80s horror, of course, and more melodrama that we love from Korea.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting how this monster is also a mutation, kind of like Okja was.
Yeah.
So he kind of kept some of those elements there too. So I'm really curious about his other films, if he keeps some of these elements.
Me too.
That he does pretty freaking well.
Yeah.
And I loved this monster. No, not my favorite monster. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 favorite monsters, but it still was a cool looking monster. What was it? Was it a fish? Was it a tadpole? Was it a lizard? What was it? I wish I would have paused it while watching this, now that I think about it, to kind of get a better look at it. Because I know it had gills. It could go in the water, but then it walked like a fucking crazy person. Almost kind of humanish.
I saw that it was inspired by this mutated S-shaped fish that he saw, that the Bong Joon-ho saw, I think in the Han River, or out of the Han River, and it was like the spine had been mutated in a geometrical way. It was all fucked up like that. And then the designers, he told them about that, and maybe even had pictures and show, and wanted something like that. And then the CG guys, the art team was like, well, there needs to be some kind of practical element here if it's gonna run, be on land. And so they gave him frog legs.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And I know I saw it on the wiki and stuff, that it's really cool that we see him almost immediately.
Yeah.
And we see him for a long period of time, and it's in the daylight. It's cool. I can't think of another movie that's quite like that. It maybe with the exception of A Quiet Place, which they also kind of run in a similar way.
Yeah, I can see that. And in some films, like I think it's the second Kong, one of the newer Kongs,
yeah.
we see him almost immediately, but it's more like a sneak peek. It's not, we don't see him do anything. We're not seeing him, fighting some other monsters. We're not seeing him do much besides just peek his head out from the mountain. So, okay, that one's a little bit different there, but this dude he's out and about and killing and squishing, and oh my god.
And people are freaking out.
And people are freaking out.
It's awesome. I don't know what it is about those two Korean zombie movies I love a lot, Train to Busan and #Alive, where the freak out scenes and the people running, the choreography and the directing that goes along with moving all these people in a direction, and they've got it figured out in Korea, man. I don't. It's just next level. They need to spill those techniques and secrets, unless people are just better. I don't know. It's just weird. It's good. It's really cool.
Yeah, especially Train to Busan. Like that movie gave me a panic attack in halfway through the movie.
Yeah, that might be my favorite zombie movie.
I'd have to think about my favorite zombie movies, but it would be up there for sure.
Yeah.
And then you saying that these like freak out scenes in movies and people running. I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was in Jurassic World, the dude running with his margarita. Like even Americans make
it
that
silly.
So silly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny. It was hilarious, but it's not a total freak out, you know?
Because I don't think, at least in recent memory, I can't think of an American film where there's a freak out scene where you're supposed to also be scared. You know, you're not supposed to be scared in the Jurassic World films. They're 100% fun, schlocky nonsense. You know, Chris Pratt riding dinosaurs and whatever.
Not
you know,
he's not riding the dinosaurs.
He's not?
Silly. I don't think so. But yeah, I'm trying to think of one.
I'm gonna start paying deep attention to freak out scenes.
Yeah,
especially scenes from all movies, just all movies. I was gonna say from specific countries, but
yeah, that's a good thing to keep an eye out for. Because I'm also thinking of the 2005 King Kong movie, and I guess when he escapes from the theater, people start freaking out, but we don't see tons of people going anywhere. We just, car crashes and just people screaming. So not quite that either.
It's almost more maybe an American perspective or an American angle they like taking is it's more of a spectacle where we have a bunch of crashes and explosions and whatnot stuff, because I think that is true. And then here it was almost found footage where we were running with them. You know, there might be something to that. What is it? The become better film watchers as we progress into Filmsteinhood.
Which the running scene, or in the running time, I don't know how to fucking phrase that.
Yeah, the running scene. That's
a giant scene of everyone running.
Yeah.
It's a big scene.
It is a big scene.
But within that scene is my favorite scene in this movie.
Oh, I know. Which one is it? I think I know.
You know. It's when
great.
He grabs the wrong girl's hand. How fucking clever. Oh my god. And I love reveals. You know, everyone loves reveals in movies. Like this moment. Oh my god.
It's awesome.
It was awesome. Poor dad. He looks back. It's not his kid. He grabbed the wrong kid's hand. And you know, they do that close up that he made contact with a little hand. And you're like, okay, oh my god, he grabbed his daughter, thank God.
Yeah.
And then you look back and it's not his daughter.
And then I guess that girl's dad or someone who knows her was like, why are you touching someone else's kid?
And then seconds after that, the big monster comes and grabs his daughter and takes
you're
him.
Like, she's fucking
like,
dead.
Fuck.
She's fucking dead.
Yep.
That intro part was probably my favorite part of the movie, all of that, where he was, asleep at his snack truck little thing where him and his dad live. I don't know what that's about, but I like it. There's a lot of things to look at and a lot of texture to their little store they have, and I like that they hang out back there and watch TV and wait for customers, and it's cool. I like that a lot. And do we know where that dad is from?
I do. It took a while, though. It took a while. But he's from Okja.
Yep.
He's the grandpa in Okja.
Grandpa in Okja. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a chart. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. There's a chart in the Wikipedia page. And it tells you all the actors he likes to work with. And, like, where they overlap.
Okay.
And I saw this grandpa overlap with Okja, and I'm like, what? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, that's the grandpa.
I think he's in Parasite too, right?
He's in Parasite too?
Yeah, I think so. No, maybe not.
Yeah, he's in Barking Dogs Never Bite, The Host, and in Okja.
Okay, so just 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barking Dogs Never Bite is his first film. Bong Joon-ho's first film.
Oh.
So we'll have to watch that. Apparently it's good.
Okay. I mean, if it's got the grandpa, I'll watch it.
I know, that right? He's
me.
Good. He's kind of a similar character, but he's got good energy, man. He's got good facial expressions. He's got his dialogue is so good. Especially he's trying to tell, like, when it's like mid movie when he's telling the other siblings about, take it easy on our main character. I don't know his name, and then they fall asleep, and then he wakes up And he's like, you just need to, be patient with him. He's not as smart as everyone else.
And like his wife died, right? And that's why he has a little girl.
Okay.
So take it easy on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's good stuff.
That is funny. I like when he's trying to get supplies so they can go rescue the little girl. And he's given the like gangsters dudes all his assets, all his money. And he's just trying to like give him the card and give him the wallet. And then they're like, no, give us the whole wallet. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, just, I don't know. His grandpa-ness,
he's out of his element.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like him a lot. We got to bring up, man, Herschel in the very first 5 minutes of this movie. He's, I guess, he's like the American doctor instructing the Korean, or I should say the American scientist instructing the Korean scientist to pour down all this formaldehyde down the sink.
Apparently this was based off a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor that, our Herschel dude, I don't know his name in the film.
Yeah, Herschel from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, his name in the film is, I don't know. But that doctor did ask somebody to pour formaldehyde down the sink in a lab, and that, person did. And then they tried to charge the doctor in Korea, but the American military was like, no, you can't charge our doctor because he's working with the military. And Korea was like, yes, we can. But America managed to protect him until like 5 years after the incident. They were able to get him to appear in court.
Did it go anywhere?
No, he didn't. He never served prison time. He was found guilty, but it didn't go anywhere. He didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a prison time situation. It sounds like
No, man, put his ass in jail.
No. We gotta force the Americans to help clean up, basically. Start a new institution, start a new initiative to help make Korea clean again.
Okay, well, he can help on his free time.
Because prisons to help correct people, and I don't know, it's gonna be an endless thing, isn't it? Where what can you even correct in people? Can you teach people common sense? Can you teach people to care about their environment if they don't give a shit?
But can you scare them enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a tactic, scaring them to the point where they just will never put themselves in a situation to ever be put in prison again. Sure. There's something to that. Scared Straight, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Favorite show on, I think, MTV. 20 years ago, maybe.
But no, that was hilarious. Seeing Herschel, like, first scene in the movie. Bam. I was like, wait a minute. I know that guy.
It's a weird connection. Bong Joon-ho's he's an up-and-coming Korean director. And we got this random guy who would eventually join The Walking Dead. Like, I wonder, I guess I need to look into his filmography. Is this guy famous? I don't know. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, I don't know his actor name either.
But that was the beginning there with Herschel and the other scientists. This is a good way to set the mood and set the cadence of the movie, I think. And then especially with the very, the proper first scene with our main character, him falling asleep and him being who he is and stealing one of the squid legs and stuff. It's a really good cadence for what the movie is,
I like that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say it sets up a really effective movie.
Yeah, I like that all our characters really are kind of banged up. Something's wrong with them. You have the dad. He's just sleepy. He's stealing stuff. He's kind of a loser, not really taking care of his kid. And then, you got the uncle who's a drunk and went to the little girl's recital drunk.
He's a college graduate, too.
But he's a college graduate, yeah. But he doesn't have a job.
Very forward thinking.
And then
Joon-ho.
The aunt, who's this Olympic winner, but she hesitates. She can't, shoot the arrow when she needs to. She just she's, hesitating all the time. She never wins first place. And, the grandpa, I guess he's not, nothing too wrong with the grandpa, but he has to, be a part of this circus. So I like all those characters. You don't have this one character who's the smartest or who's the hero or the,
I can't remember what they call it for the guy, but for the girl character who is just perfect, basically, they call her Mary Sue.
Mary Sue?
Yeah. I can't remember what they call it for a guy.
Bob, John,
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, none of them were that.
Yeah,
none of them are Mary Sue's.
My second, it might be my first favorite, but my second favorite at the very least is when they go to like the gymnasium or whatever it is, and the people who came in contact with the monster all go to this gymnasium to get checked out. And then I think they, at the same place, they set up like a memorial of all the people who were lost.
Yeah.
And when they see the little girl's picture and stuff, they all start having breakdowns in different ways, and it's just so awesome. That's the most Lynchian part of the movie right there, I think, is just this. I wish it was even, I'm always going to say this, but I wish it was 30 seconds longer of them just fucking crying and yelling. It's just so funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious. They're freaking out, they're crying, and then they start beating each other up, and they're on the ground.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at them, and it's a good scene. And I, taking it back to the, what'd you call it, anti-American film? That's what people say it is. That's just funny. But I do like some of the parts where they are making fun of the Americans.
I wish, like I guess I said at the beginning, I wish they would have taken that a step further.
I mean, how much further can you take it? You have our military guy who's pretending to be the hero. I don't know his name, David, somebody. He over here trying to save everybody from the monster. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's what Americans do. They try to save you, or at least in American films, that's what they are gonna do.
Yeah,
they're gonna be the hero.
Yeah, he was in the wrong movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was in the wrong movie. And then, our scientist, who is an American, who didn't like that the bottles were dusty. They have dust on them. Dump them down the sink. Get rid of them. What? That doesn't... You can wipe them down.
That's a good point, yeah.
And
then the military had no sense of urgency.
Yeah.
With the matter.
And then they were lying.
Which is not... That's not that's not, that's almost expected, I guess. But it does add to it. And then they are, I don't know if you saw, but at the end there, when they use the yellow agent, that's making fun of something called the orange agent that the U.S. invented and used on Vietnam.
In Vietnam, okay.
To kill the jungles, so the communists the Viet Cong couldn't hide, which is awesome.
That's hilarious.
That's just an awesome technique that they invented something to fucking wipe out.
Oh my gosh.
Forests.
That's hilarious. See, it's like, you have these...
But it's chaotic. But that's, No, you're right. Maybe,
You just have to, I guess, maybe read into them more. And I'm sure there's many more.
There probably are a few more.
We've
named 4 right off the top, I think. And then there's a couple of the news broadcasts are sprinkled throughout and stuff. So there's probably like 7 or 8, and the movie's not very long. So maybe
I think I read somewhere that
maybe it was just perfect. Really, I just liked it so much that I wanted more. But you gotta be careful. Too much of a good thing is not good.
That's true.
You eat too many donuts, you're gonna blow up.
That is not good.
Yeah.
Don't eat too many donuts.
You eat too much beef jerky, you're gonna be blowing something up.
You're gonna be blowing everyone around you up. But I was reading somewhere that the news scenes they were broadcasting on TV were actual war scenes from the Iraq War. And I think, what's his name? The director?
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be, satirical about that.
That's funny. We see that in Okja, too, with the Obama-Clinton photo after they got Osama bin Laden. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. That was not Obama. That was Bush, but it's funny. You know what I'm talking about?
The one you pointed out? Or what do you
No,
mean?
when I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
No.
You know the video?
No.
That's just something George Bush said.
Oh.
When they got, was it Saddam Hussein at that time? I'm not sure who it was. Some terrorist.
So there's a video of him that says, we got him?
Yeah, it's just some public announcement.
I have to listen to this.
And he's got, I mean, no matter how you feel about Bush, which I don't really have any feelings about him. Yeah. I wasn't born for most of their reign over America. I don't know what kind of effect they had, I still don't know what effect Biden's fucking having even right now, all right? But the cadence of George Bush's voice and how his cowboyness, it's 10 out of 10. He's got a character, he is a cartoon. He's
like from Texas, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
And so it's cool. And so when you hear him say it, it just sticks in your mind like crazy. And that meme has been around for like 20 years, man.
That's funny. I have to listen to that.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a meme behind it, but I don't know what's true and what's not. It's a meme.
I can't remember who they got, but they got someone. They got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. It's good stuff. So
yeah, I mean, there's things sprinkled throughout the whole film. And that's silly to say. It's anti-American.
You sound sensitive as fuck.
Yes.
It's embarrassing.
Americans did do that. They do play the hero. They are stupid enough to pour formaldehyde down the sink.
Just because you're making fun of something, I don't care even how not tasteful it is. Just because you're making fun of something doesn't mean it doesn't mean you disagree with it, and it definitely doesn't mean you're like anti whatever you're talking about. Just because you make fun of gays or Asian people or I don't know, gamers, people online or something doesn't mean you fucking disagree with their whole ideology. It's just they're funny. Easy targets to make fun of for X, Y, and Z. That's why stereotypes are funny, right?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you.
I wish I don't. It's hard to look up, I guess, because it's hard to look up any good things on the internet. What's a good movie? You Google that shit and you get a bunch of nonsense. But I'd like more films that make fun of America in that way, in a political way. Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, Bong Joon-ho is very amused by American politics, isn't he?
Yes.
He's like,
yes, he is.
I wonder to what degree. It's a very Hideo Kojima, the creator of Metal Gear Solid, kind of amusement where, except from a different angle, he seems to be very environmentally minded. Mm-hmm. Whether he's approaching it from a very cynical point of view or if he's actually concerned, it's hard to say. We don't know him, right? It feels very cynical, but it's because it's funny, but it's hard to say. And then Hideo Kojima is very interested in countries' relationships with one another, especially with the U.S. with Russia. He's very interested in that. Hideo Kojima is Japanese, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of very cool for non-Americans to be interested in American affairs.
I mean, say what you want about America, but they're definitely worth watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to say it a million times. I think we just started recently bringing it up over and over again, but if it's challenging, I feel like you need to position that in your mind in such a way that this is something I should watch, that it's urgent that I get this, in my mind, because it's different, it's challenging. Mm-hmm. I feel like you should be hungry for a challenge and at least on a entertainment level, so it can kind of flesh out who you are and your principles, and also flesh out what you like in the world. Maybe you find other entertainment through this thing that you were once challenged by and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. I do think this film, to change subjects a little bit, holds up pretty well for a 2006 movie.
Yeah, it doesn't have the bad trappings of an early 2000s movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it has that soap opera-y haze, sort of, but not in a bad way. Not really at all. It feels very digital, so I would assume this is probably filmed digitally, not on film, but I don't know. It does hold up better than most early 2000 movies. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what that is, but
I don't know if I can tell when a movie feels digital or not. Yeah, I don't know if I can tell that. But I do think it holds up. I think, our monster dude holds up. I think the performances hold up. Even the, what'd you call it? What haze? What type of haze?
it's like a soap opera haze.
Yeah.
I don't know about modern soap operas, but soap operas from at least 10 plus years ago had that weird vignette kind of haze.
Like a grayish?
No, like there was a focus, like a clarity focus. You know how when you are messing with an aperture or whatever, and you're trying to figure out what the focus is. Is that right? The aperture, is that what it's called?
Sure.
And
I understand
with your phone, how trying to get focus and everything behind it is kind of hazy and
yeah.
Soap operas do that. Soap operas kind of do that with the perimeter always being
like not focused.
Kind of not focused, but it's not quite not focused. It looks like they're somehow maintaining a fog around the perimeter, but it has something to do with it. Doesn't. I don't think there is a fog. I think it has everything to do with how they're filming it. Maybe the gear they're filming. Maybe they use really cheap shit, and that's just comes with the effect. That comes with the territory of filming soap operas and whatnot. Or I was gonna say telenovelas, but telenovelas don't have that effect. It's different for telenovelas, and then also Korean soap operas. Like I think Korean soap operas and telenovelas look more similar in how they're filmed and the like color gradient and stuff. But American soap operas, because think about Emily Rose. Do you see it? Can you see it when you think about that film?
I just see old.
You see old, because I feel like
I can't put a name to it.
If you go back 30, if you go back 40 plus years, films, TV, I don't know about TV, but films did not have that. They had a very tight clarity to it. It was just, some films, it's hard to say because then you have things like The Exorcist, which is like intentionally kind of hazy in so many places. But like think about The Elephant Man. It's very high res, it feels old because it has this stage playness to it. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that inherently makes it feel older, even if it was made today. But there's no haziness, the camera, everything, what you'd expect to be in focus is in focus, but in a soap opera, I swear to God, nothing's really in focus. Because I don't know, is it just hazy? I don't know what the fuck that is. It's a weird vignette thing.
All right, I'm gonna have to pay attention to.
I hate it.
haziness.
I fucking hate that early 2000s look. Hate it, and I know a lot of people do. It's kind of trite to say, but
is it kind of like The Matrix? Is that because I The Matrix also feels old to me.
Yeah,
I don't
at it. Think I really noticed in The Matrix. The Matrix just visually looks minus the Matrix. Oh, man, just. The CG, the choreography is just so fucking bad in The Matrix, And then not to mention, I gotta watch what I say, I guess, because I might be eating my words in 10 years. But the green and the black that once was associated with sci-fi sucks. And I know today we have a lot of teal blues. A lot of teal orange. And I like it a lot better, but I think that has to do with it being actual, like, natural kind of tones.
Yeah.
Because it may not be used in a natural way, like we saw a lot in John Wick, but the sky is blue, and skin tones and wood and
oranges.
Sandy shit and oranges are teal, or orange, So, like, there's an inherent kind of complementary nature to the world. But I guess you could also say that about green, and shrubbery and fucking whatever. But it's just not the same to me. I don't.
Interesting. And then when we go to bookstores, a lot of books have that teal orange book covers.
It's like the ultimate complementary color combo. People like that.
Huh. I like it.
Oh yeah, it's super pleasing. it's one of those. I guess it's a dangerous game playing with the orange blue combo, because if you don't do it right, you look like everyone else. But if you can do it, you look like John Wick. You know, you're just it's just awesome. John Wick did it how many times in the whole movie? 30, 40 times in the whole movie. You know, at some point you would think you'd be like,
all right, we get it.
All right, we get it. But you're just like, holy shit, how did they do this? You know, it's just awesome. And I'm sure a lot of that's like in post-production, but it doesn't matter. It's just so perfectly done, especially that subway scene.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah. So, and I'd say in this movie we get a pretty subdued color gradient, color palette, and one thing I like about the palette is with our main character is how he stands out against everyone, because it's not just the blonde hair, but it's this blonde hair against everything around him. It's kind of got a grayness. It maybe even has a greenness to it, actually. But it just pops, and you can always pinpoint him. I like that and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they even make a, kind of subtle joke there when the nurse is trying to catch him. And she's like, hey, you. And, there's a lot of hey, yous out there. But then she's like, the blonde one. And then, it's our main dude. He's the only blonde one there. He's the only one with anything blonde in his hair.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah. There's a lot of little things I like that were done in this film.
Hang on one second. Hear me out. Is that Bong Joon-ho making fun of not just Americans, but non-Koreans, and especially like Westerners, so Europeans and whatnot, and us, of course? Is that him making fun of us saying that, Asians look alike? And he's like, all right, here you go. His hair is fucking different. You can't mistake him for anyone else, I could see it.
I could see it too.
I think he'd think that's probably pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even recognize the grandpa immediately.
Well, he aged from,
but his like mannerisms and the way, I mean, he's the same character. You even said
similar,
it.
Yeah.
So okay.
That's true. That is true. But in Okja, he's like almost got this hillbilliness to him,
Yeah.
He's smiling. You can see his teeth, and he's got this like. It's so good. Man. You gotta watch Okja.
He's gonna be more somber. He just lost his granddaughter, so
yeah,
he's gotta play that part. But I thought you were gonna say that Bong Joon-ho, the fuck you say his name?
I think Bong Joon-ho.
Bong,
like bong,
like a bong.
I think it's more of a sound. Bong
Okay.
Joon-ho. I think.
Our director here, I can't pronounce his name, and I apologize.
He understands. He probably laughs at it, at stupid Westerners, uncultured motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even attempt to say any of these characters' names, and I feel so bad, but it is what it is. I'd rather say, the daughter than butcher her name.
Yeah.
But I thought you were gonna say that he was making fun of blondes, calling them dumb blondes, because our main characters.
There might be something to that too. There might be something to that, which I probably, if I had to bet, is very American slanted too. Blondes being dumb. I bet you it is, man.
I thought this were you.
There might be something. See, do we? It's so easy to gush over good directors, isn't it? Just like we were doing with Ari Aster. Are we giving them too much credit?
No,
they're geniuses.
They're geniuses.
They're fucking geniuses.
They are geniuses. Okay, maybe if it was just a one-hit wonder, all right, but
yeah. All
right, you got two.
Yeah.
2 right now. Let me watch some of these other ones.
Especially in something like this that's not even it's not even close to being on the level of Okja, but it's still good. Like it's still great.
He deserves the credit for sure.
I want this to be the baseline for films. Like this is such a good baseline. It's so fun. I just feel like everyone who worked on it had fun. Although I know they didn't. I know they actually filmed in some of the sewage some of the sewers around the Hans River and stuff, and it was not fun to work in those environments. But
wow,
yeah, authentic.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, awesome for me.
awesome for Bong Joon-ho too, because he gets that authentic smell.
The smell.
I could smell it.
But yeah, there's so many little things in this film that I just like when after the intro scene, and then we know now that there's formaldehyde all in the river, and then we have these two fishermen that are in the river, and they're fishing, they're doing their thing, and one of them has a little tiny cup, and he's scooping up some water, and he's about to drink it. He's like, "Hey, do you see something in there?" And the other guy's like, "Nah, I don't see anything." And then, drink some water. I'm like, "No, don't drink the water."
Right out of the Hans River.
Or, we have our, the aunt. She's a bad shot. Or not that she's a bad shot. She's probably a really great shot. She
takes a minute.
A
little too long.
Yeah. So, towards the end, not quite the end, but towards the end, she takes a shot at our monster, and she hesitates again and misses, and then he fucking knocks her up against the wall, and she falls into a little divot, and she's you don't know what happened to her for like a while.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking clever. And then, not to mention, no one's out trying to destroy this thing. Where's everybody at?
Yeah. It was left in the hands of just fucking pedestrians and a determined dad.
And the scene where they're, trying to sneak out, and they're in the truck, and then a guy pulls them over, and the grandpa's gonna bribe him, but he already spent all his money trying to get the supplies, so they grab that, ramen filled cup with all the coins, which is this dude's life savings. He was showing his daughter. Oh, no, it wasn't his life savings. It was to buy her a phone.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, here you go. Here's a ramen cup full of coins for your bribe." And then they just left. And he gave it to him in a bag, so you don't really know what it is until he opens it. It's so funny. It's so clever.
Yeah, it's awesome. I guess it's also funny that there's no way that was enough to even make a dent on buying a phone. That's also funny.
And then it's the coins he stole from the grandpa out of the change from the store. It's oh my gosh. It's not the greatest film out there, not the best monster out there, but it's a good movie. It's clever. It's so clever. It's so funny. It's bananas. I like it.
It puts so many movies to shame.
Yeah. And I guess to, wrap up here, I like the ending. I like that the whole time you're kind of rooting for the little girl to live. And she's living. She's making it. And then in the end, she didn't make it. And it's not, it's rare when a movie makes that call, when the movie kills the kid in the end. The kid's gonna live. The kid always lives.
The heroes always live in American films.
Yeah.
I know that's a funny thing that's brought up with like French cinema, is that whatever you think good thing is gonna happen, the opposite thing is gonna happen. That's how you guess a French film. That's
hilarious.
Yeah. And so I guess it's something similar here.
Yeah.
Not as dire as a French film, I hear, but
and then the little boy lives, and they make something out of that, and that's pretty cute. I like that. Yeah. I like the ending.
Yeah, I guess one more point on him, adopting that little boy. I liked the stepping to, us seeing them in that little building with all the convenience store type building, where it's that first shot is outside of it and it's snowing, and it's kind of dark, twilight, whatever. It's twilight, nightish time, dusk. Yeah. There we go.
Dusk.
And nobody's out there. It's quiet. They're inside, just the two of them, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're eating ramen.
They're just eating. He's like, "Can you turn the TV off?" They turn the TV off.
Yeah, it's cute.
It was cute.
And sad at the same time because a little girl died.
And the grandpa. Grandpa died.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He basically sacrificed himself.
Mm-hmm. And then with that, I thought the grandpa was going to die. Or, he got hit by the monster. And I thought the monster was going to take him back to the cave where he had the little girl. And they were going to reunite there somehow. But nope. He basically grabs him with his tail, I think, and then just smashes him on the ground. And he's done. He's dead. I was like, dang. I know. I like the grandpa. So yeah, that's even sadder. That ending scene where you have no grandpa and no daughter, but it's just them two. And I mean, he lost someone too. The little boy lost his brother, I think.
Yeah, or at least his
caretaker.
His street brother.
Yeah.
His foster brother. I'm not sure they were brothers. They are brothers, but they're not. I don't know if they were born of the same
brothers.
mother. Yeah, good film. Definitely recommend. What do you give on your letterbox?
I'd probably give it a 3.
A 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A 3.
Yeah, I think this one probably
nice,
sits around...
solid 3. This one probably sits around a 1.5. It's a good film.
No, I was going to say like a 2.
Not much better.
Maybe 2.5.
Okay, I'll take 2.5. I'll take that.
2.5, I think about it.
All right, think about it. I'm glad you didn't give it a 1.
Because it's one of those films that is a delight to watch. I can recommend it to the right people, but it's missing, that extra oomph of, it's just missing that thing, to get it out of me.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch. It's fun. It's got some really fun elements. I love that they make fun of Americans in America as a whole, and I love how lighthearted it is. I love the cadence of the movie. It's a solid movie. Like I've said, I wish this was the baseline for films, because this movie, I think, only had a $10 million budget as well.
Holy crap. Sure. Can we just start giving people $10 million budgets? See what they do with it?
It says $11 million on Wikipedia, so...
Isn't that what Hereditary had? 10 million?
Yeah, in Midsommar.
Oh, see?
Mm-hmm. And I think, I want to say The Evil Dead Rise also was a $10 million budget, around that.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting.
And those are, I guess Hereditary didn't come out this year, but those are some of the better movies I've seen this year.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Mario cost. It was probably $200 million budget, if I had to guess.
I have no guess. I can't. No.
Maybe
can't
one
guess
day.
that.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
It's hard to guess animated movies, but it's it's coming from one of the big three, arguably the biggest, Illumination. Is Pixar bigger? I think it's kind of up in the air right now, to be honest. I guess one of the big four, because I'll put DreamWorks in there too. DreamWorks, Sony, Illumination, and Pixar / Disney 3D animation. So
okay,
but yeah. So it's kind of hard to guess. It's always hard to guess. I would have never guessed The Whale costing $5-ish million. It may only take place in an apartment, but still,
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll guess. I'll be able to guess. Maybe one day I'll be able to see this.
I'm gonna start asking you, and then if it's available, I guess then I'll tell you. See if you're where you are
on my guesses.
Yeah, right. We'll tally it up at the end of the year. How many times you're right and wrong?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for watching this film with me. I can't wait for the next Bong Joon-ho movie. It might be Memories of a Memoir. I think that's what it's called.
Memories of a Memoir.
It's the one before this. It's the film before this. Don't worry about it. But that is not the next episode. The next episode is a surprise.
A surprise? Yeah. I love surprises.
Do the right thing out there and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins signing off.